Food, glorious food? Not for everyone. When some look in the mirror, they see a distorted view of themselves, which leads them down a dark path towards eating disorders. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Deborah.
And I am Sazzy, and welcome again to Women Talk, where we talk about topic that matters.
Yeah, and today's topic is eating disorders,
That's
a topic
right.
that actually I feel very connected with, and I have a lot of friends that actually experienced various forms of eating disorders, being in the fashion and modeling industry. So
Yeah.
very excited to jump straight into it. And we have two lovely ladies with us today, of course. Shweta, we all know you,
Yes.
fellow Miss Universe Malaysia model, TV host. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and you're welcome. And we also have Dr. Chua, and she is the founder of Relate Mental Health Malaysia, not-for-profit organisation dedicated to the provision of mental health services, education, training, and advocacy since 2015. Welcome again, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think the spectrum of eating disorders is actually quite broad. I feel like, especially for me and perhaps for many others, when we think of eating disorders, we think of maybe being anorexic and bulimic, but it's actually includes many other conditions.
Right.
Maybe, Doctor, if you'd like to tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The classic ones that you've talked about, anorexia, where you're severely underweight, you're restricting, you evaluate your self-worth based on your weight and shape.
Yeah.
Bulimia, where you engage in binge eating, and compensatory behaviors like using laxatives, over-exercising, vomiting. But nowadays, there are also disorders that don't fit into these categories, like just binge eating disorder, where you don't engage in the compensation. There's also disorders like RFID, which is where you're not so much concerned about how you look or weight, but you've got weird textures that you want to avoid, certain tastes that you want to avoid. But the main thing is that it affects your eating. So it's all about the behavior. And that's the core issue with eating disorders.
And this is not a new thing. It's been around for a long time.
Ages.
Yeah.
Even to the dark ages. I mean, people were starving themselves for certain reasons, sometimes religious, but sometimes it's about the way they look.
And Shweta, what about yourself? You're in an industry which is obviously very, it's all about how you look, right?
Yes.
That's almost like the only thing that really matters most of the time. But I believe your story actually started before that.
Yes, actually, I would say at every phase of life, I think, fell into like different categories of this eating disorder. It started from schooling, because I was the person who loves to binge eating, because that time we don't have the awareness that, okay, you have to count your calories, you have to have perfect diet. And so I became obese, and my health was affected, but thank God to my friend, my best friend, she said that, we should be more mindful on what we eat. We should have a perfect diet, which we learn on, that triangle, the pyramid, sorry.
Yeah.
And then when it came into pageantry, I had a phase where I skipped meals. It's because of work schedule. Sometimes you don't, it's not that I intend to, but it's just unintended because we have a lot of interviews, photo shoots, and you don't realize. And when you have a rest day, because I remember my former manager, she used to have give me a back-to-back, and then on my third day, when it's a rest day, I'm like, okay, my calories aren't counted, so I'm just gonna binge eat over, and that's another disorder, which I'm not sure what category, I'm sure there is.
Must have a label.
Yes, there's surely a label. So I came to a point that I said, you know what, I'm going to do a campaign called Your Body, Your Say, because I realized people actually forgot the true definition of body image.
Yeah.
Body image is what you see in the mirror, what you perceive, but I think it's ever since I was crowned until today, it's more on what people say. When someone tells me that, oh, you are quite thick, or you're fat for the matter of fact, I believe in that and not to what I see. So I decided on creating an awareness, and which was why I said it's your body, your say.
Yeah, Shweta, your experience really highlights the social pressures.
Yes.
And how much pressure is placed not just on friends could influence you, even with great intentions. I really like how you highlighted the perfect diet, as if there was such a thing in the perfect body.
Correct.
And you're just so rigid, and you stop just enjoying food and appreciating your body being able to do what your body can do.
Yeah.
You know, like walking, jumping, skipping, you know, the practical functioning of your body, and you forget that totally.
Can I ask Doctor as well? I don't know if I'm accurate in saying this, but I feel like a lot of people perhaps don't take eating disorders as seriously as they should. If your teenager,
I don't
is
think we
going
talk about
through
it enough.
no, and they're like, oh gosh, you just, come on, eat your food, stop being silly. You know, we don't realize it can actually become medically very dangerous and sometimes near fatal.
Yes, it has the highest mortality rate of all the other psychiatric illnesses.
Wow.
Because
that's scary.
Eating affects your body, right? It affects your physical health. You know, vomiting, laxatives, over-exercising, that affects your body. Starving affects your body. Binge eating affects your body. So physical health is very much affected. You know, obviously we know the cost on your mental, emotional health. We also know that it increases treatment costs. It means that you can't go to work as much. It will also affect your studies. So other than all those costs, highest mortality.
Do you see it happening between the men and women? Who do you see it happening most? Is it more in the women or men?
So traditionally, people thought it's a women's thing. You know, men will be safe. But actually, we see a lot more with men rising up, and with the flower boys phenomenon, and especially with East Asian cultures importing in that
look.
that you're very slender look, right? Very toned. But there's also muscularity. So people are engaging in disordered eating to be more muscular.
Wow, how interesting.
So
we're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, I want to talk a bit more about these beauty standards that we hold ourselves up to, and the role of social media as well. We'll see you after this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Women Talk, and today's topic is eating disorder. We've got our guests still, we've got Dr. Chua and Shweta.
I'm reading this statistic here, and it's scaring me because that's pretty much saying that, like, in this room, like, half of us have symptoms, Doctor, you were saying, of eating disorders. So tell us a bit more about this.
Okay, is it really that surprising, Deborah? Like,
it
is not actually that surprising.
That's true.
That at some point of our lives, we've been so concerned about our weight, so concerned about how we look, our shape, that we're taking steps to not gain weight or to try to lose weight. After we eat a meal, we're like, okay, the next meal I'm going to skip. That's disordered eating. Or the next meal, you know what, I'm going to push myself to exercise and over-exercise, even though I'm so tired because I want to try to burn off all the calories that I've eaten.
Wow.
So disordered eating...
Everyone I know has an eating disorder.
Or weight control behavior. It's not an eating disorder. But
whatever she's saying, it's like the voice in my head whenever I eat every day. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to exercise.
That's right.
This.
And we justify it to ourselves.
I was a bit in denial before this. I'm like, no, I don't think I have a problem. But then you say over-exercising, taking laxatives. I'm like... Oh my goodness!
Symptoms.
I did go through
symptoms. Yeah, I mean, they just mean that these aren't. But the fact is, these are not healthy behaviors.
Okay.
And I think just naming it and say this is not the way we should treat our bodies. This is not the way we should be eating our foods.
Yeah.
You know, we should not have to always think if I have a meal that I enjoy, I need to run it off.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
not
unhealthy. And so we're saying it's essentially establishing a healthy relationship with your body and the food. And as you say, we need this food to survive. So what does that relationship look like? But jumping to social media, like I think, Shweta, it plays a huge role.
Oh my gosh.
It sets these crazy, unattainable beauty standards, half of which are not even real. There's like all sorts of filters for everything.
Yeah.
And, people, to use the word, almost kill themselves to try to fit into this definition.
Correct.
Definition of beauty.
Yeah. Do we think that social media is it really affecting our youth?
A lot. I feel, okay, first of all, I just wanted to say that I think there's no awareness. Like what you mentioned earlier, I think Raya just ended, and a thought that came up my mind was a lot of influencers was actually making like TikTok videos like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym so that I can eat my lemang a lot. So this shows that
that's kind of me.
Yeah. This shows there's no awareness. And why? What's the reasoning behind? Because they're just fear of being, getting haters, what they call it, keyboard warriors, all that horrible comments. I think I had that phase, but now I'm just like, if I love my body, I'm not going to care about what people say, because at the end of the day, I want to love how I look. I want to be comfortable in my own skin, and if you're going to come and tell me, I know me more than you know me. It has come down to that point, and as long as I'm in good health, because a earlier stage, it affected my menstruation, you know, because I did not watch my diet. So my menstrual cycle was affected, but today everything is fine. So if I'm in good health, I'm happy. So I wouldn't care. So nowadays, and I feel like social media, it's a competition, and it's every day things are changing. There's filters, and now with the whole AI world coming in, it's more pressure.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to take one step back from that pressure. As long as I know what I'm doing, I love what I'm doing, I'm happy.
I'm going to say social media plays a huge part. And I have twin daughters. They're 12, and they're at the brink of teenagehood.
Yeah.
And I worry about social media. I worry about them looking at social media, and it's going to come to a point where they are going to face that as well, and start thinking about body image. They're not quite there yet. They do now still, you know, they start wearing a bit of lipstick and lip gloss, but they're going to start thinking this way. And I'm just thinking, when you said that, I need to make sure that when I'm with them, I need to have them have a good relationship with their body and what they think about themselves and food. You know, so social media will play that. And I think it's about time we talk about this now. And why does it affect ladies? What does it affect, I think, young people?
Well, it's also like with kids. If they keep seeing, imagine your daughters, if they keep seeing you as their mum, right? Like, oh, I'm only eating this for dinner. You yourself are exhibiting all these symptoms, as we've learned, of like an eating disorder, and you're like obsessive or whatever. Then you're like their best teacher. You're kind of teaching them.
You hear that language, right? You hear parents say a better diet. In Chinese, like 減肥, you're always afraid of getting fat, and the fear of getting fat all the time. And so, kids pick it up. You know, I've had a case where mom put a weighing scale in front of the fridge.
What?
So that every time
we
they
don't
would
have a
get
weighing
the
scale
food. Also don't weigh yourself every day.
That's obsessive as well.
Yeah, it's really not healthy. I mean, weight normally fluctuates. So you really set an impossible standard for yourself. You weigh yourself every day. But, you know, so that actually, so mom had some eating issues, and then the daughters also developed eating issues. So it can really set that example of that,
I was just talking to Dr. Chua in the makeup room just now, how my twin girls get compared as well, because one is just slightly bigger, but it's not like she's fatter. It's just that, you know, I was struck, our body shape
There's diversity. There's diversity.
And you have people going, oh, she's much bigger, saying comments like that. And I have to, then up at home later, I have to say,
undo
you know
it.
what, I have to undo it.
And sorry to say this, but you know what, and sometimes, and this is all over the world, and obviously growing up in Malaysia, I've experienced this. We have this, we don't have a filter when it comes to saying things, and we think it's not offensive or hurtful, or we think it's fine. Oh, you just say, oh, you're a bit healthy now, is it? Like, we don't realize.
I don't think we say a bit fat. We say a bit fat already,
Yeah, now it's gone to that. Now it's just in your face.
I mean, like, brown families are so harsh. There's no filter at all. They just come and say, oh, you gain weight, huh?
A bit healthy, I'll be like, okay, that's great. A bit fat is what we thought.
But that's also, you know, watch your words, your language. You never realize when you say these things to people, young and older, how you're affecting them on a much deeper level.
Even when we're trying to help people manage higher weights or lower weights, you know, we bring back to the body image, how you're treating yourself, how you're looking yourself in the mirror, but how other people are treating you. I think that's the important thing, that it's not just on the individual to say, love myself, love myself, love myself. If the world is not doing that, it's so impossible, you know, and so the society needs to change.
Very true. All right, so we're going to go for a short break. We'll be back.
Hi everyone, on Women Talk today we're talking about eating disorders, and we've been discussing the whole spectrum of like being too skinny, being overweight, and everything in between. And I guess my question now is, what is healthy? And is healthy then different for everyone? Because we all have different body makeups. Is that, how do we define it, that healthy that suits us, doctor?
Well, first of all, I like how you instinctively looked at shape. And healthy is not defined by shape. Right. So I'm only 5 feet tall, and I noticed that you're a lot taller. And you know, that's shape, right? Or I could be, you call yourself thicker, you know, and or I have a smaller frame. But so if we start determining health based on shape, you know, we're going on the wrong way. right? So health is also, can you do what you need to do in your daily tasks, like fitness, right?
Yeah.
It's not about looking a certain shape or having six packs or having a certain body percentage body fat. Can you walk to your grocery store if you need to, right? Can you do what you need to do every day? And so I could be healthy and look very different from you.
Yeah.
And still be within the healthy range of weight as well.
Because there's that thing called skinny fat, right? I think there was even that phenomenon.
I've heard of that really.
Yeah, so you're balancing, I mean, you're really wanting to eat nutritious food, right? Not highly processed food.
Yes.
You're also wanting to be reasonably active, 150 minutes of moderately intensive exercise a week.
Yeah.
And after that, you generally, and let's not forget your mind.
Yeah.
Talk to people, get social support. And that's one of the key things about, and then I would say that's healthy, right? Because we often focus on only physical health, neglecting mental health.
Yeah. Like how it used to be for me, healthy is the BMI, the body mass index, okay, how much I eat and this and that. But I think after just talking to you ladies, it's about having a healthy mindset. I mean, that's healthy for me. Having that healthy mindset, that means then you focus on making your body healthy. Let's talk about healthy mindset. Let's go to your campaign. Can you tell us more about the campaign that you're doing?
My campaign was basically to tackle the issue, especially to the ones that hide behind the curtain. Those who do not want to voice out that, hey, I'm feeling a certain way. So I went to on ground. I went to universities, I went to schools, I spoke to these girls, and actually the feedback that I got was, we face this kind of thing, but we do not know how to answer back. So I taught them on how to answer back, how to educate the people who are trying to educate you, but they themselves do not know what they're saying. So basically, I came to a point I understood that be it your mental health, whatever it is in life, there must always be a balance.
Yes.
So I'm just educating my fellow upcoming generation that, hey, have a balanced diet. And there's different shapes and sizes until I had to show pictures. As you see, both people are of 60 kilograms, but someone is much more curvier.
And I think it's a journey. I mean, I speak, just very quickly touching on it, that when I first started modeling and I was 15, I actually
so
then had
15,
a very,
right?
I know, and then I actually developed a very bad, I would say, eating disorders. I used to starve myself of food, starve myself in the day, then overeat, then
and watch our
undereat,
water.
then freak out. I was obsessed. I was mentally, but I was like also, because that sometimes you
don't want to
think,
bloat,
you think
right?
water is bad, then, so you
water
just
is bad.
consume less.
Yes.
Like water retention. Okay.
Yes.
And then mentally, I was obsessive. And that was actually, if I think about it, doctor, that was the most painful part. You were obsessive. And I was in university and that didn't even matter. I was just more thinking about not eating the sandwich during lunch at school. So it gets very destructive. But, I'm glad to say, obviously, many years later, it's a journey of working. It doesn't just happen overnight where you go, okay, life's great, and I've developed a healthy relationship with food and exercise and my body and how I look and how I feel. It's a journey and
constant reminder.
Yeah, constant reminders of being good. And obviously, as you get older, your blood tests. You want everything to say that you're healthy, not just look it in the mirror. Right? So then it becomes a lot more of a deeper health issues. But doctor, quickly, if you could touch on maybe for people at home watching, if they have family members or daughters or sons, or they know their friends that are going through, a slightly more extreme eating disorders, what are the lifelines available?
Right. So first of all, it can be resistant to, hard to change because, as you're saying, it's a journey, but hard to change also because sometimes you get positive reinforcement from society. When you lose weight, everyone suddenly goes, "You look so good." And it's like, "Oh, we didn't care how you lost the weight. We just care that we think you look good now." So that reinforces it, and it is egocentric, as in the illness is sometimes desirable. And so that makes sometimes treatment difficult. But when people are willing to do it, there are really good treatments out there. So I would say first, get professional help. The next thing I would say is interpersonal support or social support. That was too technical. Social support really works. I mean, what we found is that people who developed eating disorders don't feel close to others. They feel quite isolated. They feel like they're only valued for how they look, and so for people to come alongside them, to care for them, and for people to be able to articulate their needs. This is what I need. This is how I'm feeling. This is the kind of support I need. That has been shown to actually to help people in their recovery. So rather than focusing on food all the time, and that's one mode of therapy, definitely, but another one that I think everyone can do is start loving. You know, start loving. Don't focus on how you look, what's your weight and shape. You know that person's having difficulty. Bring it up. Don't hide it. Talk about it, but then come alongside the person and love.
Yeah, it's got to shift. Absolutely, you have to shift from the abusing them or judging them or being just negative towards them to actually that support system.
See everything else that they are, not just how they look. You know.
Yes. It's been lovely having you ladies in the show. Thank you so much for all your sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and then I think, you know, to anyone watching at home, if you know someone, there is, let's say Google, there is actually very professional websites you can actually go to get the right information. And I would really stress, like, recognizing that it actually can be a lot more damaging on a person's health and mindset than we think. So, you know, especially our younger kids with social media, with all of that, have conversations with your kids, your little ones, get them to feel good from the inside out. That's what really matters. We hope it's been greatly informative. It has for us, and we shall see you soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.